What if the most powerful organization on earth was one you never knew existed? Imagine a secret society, a group of elites pulling the strings of global events from behind a velvet curtain. You have seen their symbols everywhere, hidden in plain sight. They are in music videos, on dollar bills, and whispered about in the darkest corners of the internet. This is the modern legend of the Illuminati, a name that has become synonymous with shadowy control and a new world order. A name that conjures images of clandestine meetings in ancient halls, where the fates of nations are decided by a select unseen few. The question is not whether you believe in them, but whether they have made you see the world differently. The idea is seductive, isn't it? A single, unifying explanation for the chaos and complexity of our world. It simplifies history. It gives a face to the faceless forces that shape our lives. Global conflicts, financial crises, and political upheavals are no longer random. Instead, they are meticulously planned steps in a grand, centuries-old conspiracy. This narrative has woven itself into the fabric of our culture. It fits our deepest anxieties about power and control. It makes us question the reality presented to us by governments and media. It turns every powerful figure into a potential member, every strange symbol into a potential clue. The allure is undeniable. This fascination is amplified by our entertainment industry. Thriller novels paint pictures of heroic scholars racing against time to expose their secrets. Blockbuster films depict them as formidable antagonists with limitless resources and influence. Music artists flash their supposed hand signs, fueling endless online debates and speculation. The Illuminati has transformed from a historical footnote into a blockbuster brand, a brand built on mystery, fear, and the compelling suggestion that we are all just pawns in a much larger game. The lines between fiction and reality have blurred completely, creating a myth that is more powerful than any historical truth could ever hope to be. We are captivated by the story. The truth, as it often is buried under layers of myth and misinterpretation. To find it, we must travel back in time. We must leave the world of pop culture and online forums behind. Our journey takes us to the age of enlightenment, a time of radical ideas and intellectual rebellion. We must go to 18th century Bavaria, to a university town where a young professor dared to challenge the established order. It is here, in this crucible of thought, that the real story of the Illuminati begins. Not with a global conspiracy for domination, but with a secret society founded on the principle of reason, liberty, and resistance to tyranny. The reality is far from the legend. The year was 1776. While a new nation was declaring its independence across the Atlantic, another revolution was quietly starting in Bavaria. A young law professor named Adam Weishaupt founded a secret society. He called it the Order of the Illuminati. His goal was not world domination, it was enlightenment. Weishaupt lived in a time and place dominated by the state and the powerful Catholic Church. He saw superstition and religious dogma as tools of oppression. They were used to keep people ignorant and controlled. He dreamed of a world governed by reason and rational thought, free from the chains of prejudice and authoritarian rule. His secret order was the vehicle for that dream. Weishaupt structured his society like the Freemasons, with intricate rituals and a system of hierarchical degrees. New members, known as novices, were carefully selected. They were sworn to absolute secrecy. As they progressed through the ranks, they were gradually introduced to the order's true radical aims. The ultimate goal was to create a new generation of leaders. These leaders molded by the Illuminati's philosophy, would then infiltrate positions of power within the government, the church, and other influential institutions. They would not overthrow the state with violence. Instead, they would slowly and quietly transform it from the inside, guiding society towards a more secular and enlightened future. The appeal of the Illuminati was immediate and powerful. It attracted free thinkers, progressive nobles, and discontented intellectuals from all over Germany. These were men who felt stifled by the rigid social and political structures of their time. They were doctors, lawyers, writers, and even some public officials. Within a few years, the order grew to include several hundred members, with outposts in many German cities. They saw themselves as agents of change, a secret vanguard fighting for a better world. They believed they were on the right side of history, pushing back against the darkness of ignorance and oppression with the bright torch of human reason. For Weishaupt, this was a battle for the soul of humanity. He believed that traditional power structures, especially the monarchy and the church, deliberately kept the populace in a state of dependence. By promoting critical thinking and opposing religious influence over public life, the Illuminati aimed to empower the individual. Their mission was to liberate the human mind. They sought to replace blind faith with scientific inquiry and inherited privilege with merit. It was a deeply idealistic and dangerous vision, a vision that would inevitably place them on a collision course with the very powers they sought to dismantle. Their secrecy was not for sinister purposes, it was for survival. The rapid growth of the Illuminati did not go unnoticed. Secrecy can only last so long. Whispers of a clandestine organization working to undermine the state and the church began to spread. The Bavarian authorities, led by the Elector Karl Theodor, grew deeply suspicious. The government was staunchly conservative and deeply intertwined with the Catholic Church. The very idea of a secret society promoting radical secular ideas was seen as a direct threat to their power and the stability of the realm. They feared rebellion. They feared the loss of their authority. The Illuminati had become a target. Their idealism had made them enemies of the state. The crackdown was swift and decisive. In 1785, Karl Theodor issued a series of edicts. These laws officially banned all secret societies, with the Illuminati being the primary target. The government launched a full-scale campaign to expose and dismantle the order. They raided the homes of known members, confiscating their private papers, correspondence, and ritual objects. These seized documents were then published and distributed widely as propaganda. They were presented as proof of a treasonous conspiracy. The government painted the Illuminati not as idealists, but as dangerous atheists and revolutionaries plotting to overthrow all order. Faced with this overwhelming pressure, the Illuminati crumbled. The public exposure of their membership and their secret writings created an atmosphere of paranoia and fear. Members were publicly shamed, lost their jobs, and some were even exiled from Bavaria. Adam Weishaupt himself was stripped of his university position and forced to flee the country, living out the rest of his life in exile. The organization, which had burned so brightly for a short time, was effectively extinguished. By 1787, just over a decade after its founding, the historical order of the Illuminati had ceased to exist. Its structure was shattered, its leadership scattered, and its mission left unfulfilled. The suppression was total. The Bavarian government had made an example of the order. They had shown the world what happened to those who dared to challenge the throne and the order. The story of the Illuminati could have ended there, a minor and obscure chapter in the history of the Enlightenment, a tale of a failed utopian project. But the documents seized and published by the government had an unintended consequence. They ensure the survival of the Illuminati's name. They fuel the imaginations of writers and conspiracy theorists for generations to come, providing the raw material for a myth far grander and more enduring than the reality. For nearly 2 centuries, the Illuminati remained largely a subject for historians, but the seeds of myth planted by the Bavarian government's propaganda had taken root. In the 20th century, anti-establishment writers began to weave the Illuminati into a new, grander narrative. They connected them to the Freemasons, the Knights Templar, and other secret societies. They claimed the order had not been destroyed but had simply gone deeper underground. They alleged it had survived, secretly orchestrating major historical events like the French Revolution and the founding of the United States. The legend of a global conspiracy was born from these speculative works. The arrival of the internet in the late 20th century was like pouring gasoline on a fire. Information and misinformation could now spread across the globe in an instant. Online forums, blogs, and early social media platforms became echo chambers for conspiracy theories. The Illuminati myth was perfectly suited for this new digital age. Way symbols like the Eye of Providence on the United States dollar bill were presented as definitive proof of their continued existence and influence. Every unexplained event became another piece of the puzzle. The internet connected disparate believers, allowing them to build a complex and self-reinforcing worldview where the Illuminati was the answer to everything. In the 21st century, this digital myth became mainstream. It merged with pop culture in a powerful way. Celebrities were accused of being members, their every gesture scrutinized for hidden meanings. Music videos and films were analyzed frame by frame for Illuminati symbolism. The myth became a kind of game, a way of looking for hidden patterns in the world around us. It was no longer just a fringe belief, it was a cultural phenomenon. The term Illuminati became a shorthand for any perceived concentration of hidden power, whether in politics, finance, or entertainment. The symbol had become more important than the history. Today, the Illuminati persists not as a real organization, but as a powerful idea. The historical group founded by Adam Weishaupt is long gone. Its goals of reason and enlightenment have been twisted into a narrative of control and domination. Yet the myth endures because it speaks to a timeless and deeply human fear. It is the fear of the unknown. It is the anxiety that powerful, unseen forces are secretly shaping our destiny. While the Bavarian Illuminati did not survive, its legend thrives as a potent symbol of our deepest suspicions about power and the secrets it keeps in the shadows. The shadow remains,